Bom, pessoal, estamos aqui para mais um podcast do Eólica Offshore Inteligente. Hoje a gente está aqui com o Matheus Noronha, como sempre, né? O meu querido xará do setor eólico aí. E também com mais uma ilustre presença internacional do Alex. Então, para a gente começar esse podcast, até para já falar para toda a audiência, a gente vai passar para o inglês, já que o Alex não fala em português. E é isso.
So I'm Alex, Alex Bath, the Communications Director with the Global Wind Energy Council, and our head office is in Lisbon in Portugal, so my Portuguese should be good enough to speak to you Portuguese totally, but I'm afraid I'm not quite there yet. So maybe next time I come on, my Portuguese will have come on far enough. So the Global Wind Energy Council represents the whole wind energy sector across the world. We deal with it's almost like a trade association representing every sector of the industry, and we work with governments and institutions and bodies such as Eólica as well, focused on just delivering more wind energy to more countries really as quickly as possible. So a lot of the work we do is helping clear the way, help people benefit from projects that have work that's already been done, so people can benefit from previous learnings, or what are the best practices to build things like auctions and permitting, and just deal with all the details of actually turning the ambitions for wind energy into actual turbines in the water or on the land, producing green electricity. So we're doing that all over the world as much as we can.
Wonderful. Alex, it's a great pleasure having you here in our podcast. I know Alex for 3 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about wind, football, and energy transition. These three topics that have been...
That's the main thing. Maybe we do just one question on each and then...
important things to scale the energy transition and the wind energy, right?
Exactly.
Okay, but guys, today our topic will be basically based on communication and also misinformation related to wind energy, onshore and offshore wind energy. And Alex, before we start our conversation here, I would like to understand from your perspectives, what are the main points related to the institutional image of wind energy right now in the world, and how people are looking the wind energy? How can we communicate better about the wind energy? We are in a moment that we're gonna have a COP30 in the next weeks, but also energy transition is an important topic, and wind energy is part of it. We want to hear from you about it.
So, wind energy, it has a sort of maybe a funny role in people's minds. That there's a lot of people who don't know that much about it. They know wind turbines, they've seen them, they know they exist, they're turning and they produce some electricity, and that's kind of great, and they know it's a good thing, and they know it's clean energy, and that's sort of it. I think if in English we'd say like the man in the street, meaning just the normal person who's going around their day, they sort of have this idea of it, and they know it, and they know it's probably a good thing, but they don't know too much about it. Then obviously we have some people who really have taken against offshore wind, and I think we don't need to run through the list of those people. I think most people know who they are, and those and for them offshore wind particularly has become a real sort of lightning rod. It's something they're really focused on. So I think a part of the challenge for the wind industry is with those people who kind of know about wind energy and they're neutral on it, they just know it exists and they're fine about it. We need to make them feel much more positive about it and really explain to them how wind turbines, onshore, offshore, floating in the future, is fundamental to just sort of massively improving the world and bringing energy access and energy security and lowering energy prices, as the energy transition happens, really changing how the energy grid energy is delivered and grid in country grids and things, deliver that capacity to industries and homes, and it's just getting people to understand how electricity and energy is delivered and created for people to use, and making them feel really positive about wind energy as a tool for doing that, and seeing that it's not just when you turn your light on, you flick your switch, you turn your light on, oh, my lights come on and this is great. Actually, there's this that cable, there's this whole network of things going on, and that's creating jobs, and it's creating industries, and now we have the potential to. It's also creating like a fight against climate change. It's stopping this potentially disastrous thing happening. And then you have the people who are really anti-offshore wind, and I think it's about almost. I think some of them, it's they just. Oh, you mentioned football, and I always use an analogy. I was a Manchester United fan. You could tell me as much as you want why Liverpool are really good. They are currently Premier League champions. You can tell me as much as you like that they're fantastic, but I just will not believe it because I'm a Manchester United fan. And that's quite a good metaphor for some of those people who are just like, no, I do not like offshore wind. Then you're not going to win them over. So you need to, you need to wall them off almost. You need to say, okay, that's what they believe and that's fine. And you need to instead make sure that they don't persuade people those neutral people we were talking about, make sure they don't take on that negative image. They don't take on that negative image of wind energy, and get the incorrect information or the wrong idea, and they misunderstand the potential that this sort of incredible technology and engineering and all this can do. So it's though you have those sort of two audiences, and I think the challenge for the wind industry is about activating and motivating one, and sort of inoculating against, protecting against the other, and that's key to getting that buy-in and that support for the investment. So in some places you actually have to have the construction projects going on, and the social license and all these things, and the political support to deliver these enormous infrastructure projects, but which do then deliver enormous impacts for people, people, communities, businesses.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I like your connection, by the way. And but I think one of the main messages we can let here in our podcast, like, people need to start to see the renewables as tools to fight climate change, and it puts into these boxes the onshore, offshore wind energy. So your connection was really good to understand. Like, this is not only a renewable source of generate electricity, but it's also a possibility to generate new jobs, new possibilities, new ways to develop infrastructure. So this is really interesting, and your speech to start was really good to warm up our conversation here. But at the same time, we have on the other side people they do not have much information. They are against renewables. They are spreading misinformation about the technology. Fake news everywhere. Alex, I've been talking to you the last years, and we see such an interesting and cool things being made by the industry, but at the same time people keep saying misinformation and keep saying fake news about it. Could you talk a little bit about this issue that is happening?
Yeah, it certainly can. The challenge with misinformation or disinformation, or even the UN have started calling it information integrity, to kind of get away from that idea of is it mis, where people have misunderstood things? Is it dis, where people are going out of their way to tell you the wrong information? The UN have started calling it information integrity, which I think we'll see at COP in the coming weeks. So maybe when people watch this, they'll have seen a bit of that coming out of the events in Blame. But the challenge with disinformation, I'll call it to keep things simple here, is that it's very easy to just put it out and fire it out there and send it out, and everyone will have done it. Everyone will have. You get that picture on your phone and you go, oh my god, that's so funny. You share it to someone, and then it's not until you think, oh, maybe that's not true.
It's easy to click and share.
I've
right?
already sent that on to a couple of people, but actually that's definitely not. That's fake. But it's so funny. It's so easy to share that you kind of want it to
Yes.
Everyone has done that, and it moves so quickly that actually pushing back against those little moments of misinformation, those little sort of things is almost like a bit of sort of a fool's errand. You'll be forever chasing that sort of way. So what you need to do is to provide sort of like a flow of information, correct information the other way, really. And that's the challenge for the wind industry, is not to get down in the trenches with people who are putting this information out, whether they're doing it on purpose or also just by accident, I guess. It's instead to sort of, fill the zone with the positive information, with championing what wind energy is doing, put the facts out there, reach communities and people with the information before misinformation has got to them. So thinking about that analogy of when you get sent the gift that you think is really funny, everyone else has also had the times where someone else shows you it and you go, oh no, I know it's really funny, but you see, that's not real, that's a fake, that's not a real news story. Oh, they didn't really say that. And that's because you've seen the information about the verifying it. So now, obviously, offshore wind, quite often, people will raise around like whales, whale deaths, things like this, and there is no. There's no information to support that. No research to support that.
Not even scientific facts to support that. Yeah.
There's no scientific basis for it. There's been loads of research by US groups, ironically, and there's no basis for it. There's plenty of research that says that the greatest threats for whales is rising sea temperatures, which burning fossil fuels is really bad for. So if you want to talk about sort of helping whales, like that's a great topic. Like I think that's a great example of where wind energy can help nature and be really, really positive for saving the natural world. But actually, it's about making sure people know this research has been done by independent people, by people who have no interest in the industry or stuff. Their interest is in protecting whales, and they've looked at this and gone, no, there is nothing, there is no truth to this. So that then when they encounter that information of someone saying, oh yeah, but don't offshore wind turbines, they injure whale. No, I know that's already not true. They're able to kind of pre-butt it. They say, no, I know that's not true. So then you kind of push back against the information. So that's the challenge for the wind industry, is to be loud about its positive effects, the good things it's doing, and also to see those challenges that are coming and see what the sort of the opponents of wind energy, offshore wind energy particularly, are trying to find as division points and have arguments about, and get in there first to say, no, the facts are this, the situation is this, the research shows this, and get in and fill the space with good positive information before misinformation and disinformation gets in there.
Oh my God, we learned so much with this guy here because, we are from the wind industry, but sometimes we forget to understand how important it is to spread the information and the education about the source. This is a thing that we are from the industry. We have to have this responsibility and spread this message.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so easy when you're every morning you get up, you read your emails about wind energy, you're reading the news stories that you get about wind energy, your algorithms on Instagram show you more stuff about renewable energy and wind energy, and you're in your little bubble. It's so easy to forget that when you're going to speak to like a normal person, they're thinking about their shopping, they're thinking about what they've got to do at work, they're thinking about what they're going to have for dinner tonight. They're not thinking, they've had no time to think about wind energy for months. So you need to catch them up, you need to bring them up to speed.
It doesn't work if we only talk with technicians and technical people. We have to talk with normal people in daily lives. So Alex, to finish our conversation, I would like you to give us 3 recommendations to fight the misinformation that we have about onshore, offshore wind energy, or even renewables. If you can just give us like a message in 3, it can be 3 points, but also if you want to bring only one message to people to fight the misinformation, could be great to hear from you as well.
It's so important to Brazil.
Yeah, definitely, especially in this moment we're facing right now.
Yeah, and Brazil, Australia, there's lots of these countries where there's new markets, and that's where there's very, very keen fight. there's lots of work about how misinformation travels around and people working to spread it. You can go very deep into lots of research on it. But I think that the important things for the wind industry one is I think, as I was just saying, was sort of be clear about the successes and the huge positive impact it's having. At GWEC we've been doing a lot of work on just the kind of the very solid foundational facts about wind energy, and it's delivering 8% of the world's energy already at the moment. I think it's due to be 10% by 2030 and only keep growing. There's 124 countries have wind turbines generating wind energy. Last year 55 countries installed new wind energy, so it's constantly growing sector. There's over 1.1 terawatts of electricity produced every year of capacity from wind energy, which is over 500 million homes. So this thing which is, we should champion that and say this is not a future technology. This is not something on the horizon. It's like this is happening. This is something that's happening now, and it's great. Yeah. And this is such a you want a better way of producing energy and building a better world. It exists and happens now. So I think the industry should be louder and prouder and more confident about how strong it is. It's not the niche industry it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago even. It's growing. And then I think the second is, I think we should be a bit bolder, if that's the word, with the challenges or the problems that need solving, because most of those problems aren't industry problems. They're problems which are solved by working collaboratively with governments, with industry, with institutions, with financing. It's such a puzzle that comes together, and I think the industry needs to be clearer of okay, these are the problems, and we can solve them. We can do so much. As I said, all those numbers, 500 million homes, things. The industry has been the driving force to get to there, and the industry can drive on to 2 terawatts and 3 terawatts and whatever. So we should be louder and clearer of these are the problems. How are we going to solve them? And then a third thing, I think, on disinformation, I think that's something where that's quite a cross-cutting challenge for Brazil, for Australia, for US, in European markets, in everywhere. Everywhere you have these people who are nervous of it or anti it, and you've got all sorts of different voices in the communities, in governments, in institutions, and I think the whole wind sector needs to work together to challenge those topics and bring the kind of the positive message through, bring the information clearly, take it to communities. Win the argument. We've got facts are on our side, and they should help us continue to grow the sector. So I think that would be my third point, is that for misinformation and disinformation, there's lots going on, there's lots being done. GWEC is doing lots of work. The UN are starting to do work. There's lots happening, but I think for the industry, it's about engage with this, tackle it head on, tell the sort of positive story with all the people you meet.
Beautiful message. Work together to communicate and to educate in the end. That's a good quote. I will state this on the episode. Alex, thanks so much for being part of our podcast. We're really, really glad to have you here. I just would like to say that we have a partnership with a brand called Use o Vento, which means use the wind.
Yeah.
And we have a discount coupon there. So if people write down EF Inteligente, we're gonna let it in the description of the episode. People can get discounts on the t-shirts and all of this, and we're gonna give you a t-shirt in the end after all.
Fantastic.
And then you won't need to use the coupon. And thanks so much for being here with GWEC. Me and Mateus, we thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fantastic to join the two of you.
Thank you so much.